we've got to begin again with the murder of Brian Thompson, the United Health Insurance CEO. There are relevant aspects to a bunch of different stories to tie together, but to begin with, I got to play you this from CBS News.
This morning, we still do not know why the CEO of United Healthcare was murdered on Wednesday here on the streets of New York, but some of us have been really surprised by the reaction online. Many have shared their very deep frustration with the health insurance industry.
I have never seen Americans so united on something as I have over the last 24 hours.
Okay, now they play a number of social media clips of people venting, being happy that this guy died. This is Gayle King, and now I'm getting back to the panel discussion for this.
She speaks for a lot of people there, but this really isn't about this tragedy. The videos of the doctors talking about their frustrations with insurers are from before the shooting.
I had billed $12 and change for a patient's.
Now, you see what they're doing is they're now making this about a larger issue than the murder of the CEO. So we're getting all the doctors expressing frustrations, and now the panel.
Understand why so many people are so very angry is CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder. She's editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News. Really glad to have you here, especially on this particular day. Listen, we can all agree that the system is broken. We all agree on that, but it seems that people are having a hard time separating the broken system for the person. The fact that so many people are, gleeful is the word, that this has happened to this man, just sort of stuns me. How did we get here?
Look, vigilante justice is not okay.
Yeah.
We do have a country of law and order where there are systems to address these issues, which we can talk about more. But look, to quote Al Sharpton, the rent is too damn high. Healthcare costs are too damn high.
Okay, it wasn't Al Sharpton that said that. It was a different black man. But, okay, here's the thing, though. Yeah, people are gleeful. What's happening here, and CBS News is playing to this, and CBS News is part of the problem, is what's happening, particularly among the progressives, whether on the left or right. There are progressives on the right as well. These are deeply narcissistic people. What is happening, to answer Gayle King's question, what is happening is ever since COVID, we have allowed this manifestation of mentally ill narcissists to rule the conversations of this country. The Democratic Party itself has been taken over by these mentally ill narcissists, and it led to their electoral defeat. There's some data out today that you should know. It turns out that a significant portion of men who voted in the 2024 election felt bullied by their female spouse or partner into who to vote for. In fact, more men felt bullied by women than women felt bullied by men, according to the data, which is the exact opposite of the Kamala Harris ad. Remember, Kamala Harris put out an ad that showed that women overwhelmingly felt bullied by men, and there was an entire ad campaign about men pushing women to go to the polls and vote for Trump. And when they got in there, the women winked at each other, voted for Harris, and came out and, oh, yeah, honey, we did exactly what you wanted. Turns out it's the men. But the mentally ill, neurotic women of America insisted that they were the ones who were being bullied and insisted you had to vote for Harris. Turns out the mentally ill, neurotic women were driving the conversation of the Harris campaign and Democratic strategy and cost them the election. And now we're seated on display with the murder of a CEO, where we're not allowed to take the news of an innocent man who is a husband and father who is gunned down in the streets of New York City. No, you're not allowed to say he was innocent because he was a healthcare executive. As an aside here, one of the things that none of these people want to grab hold of and understand is how this is Obamacare. The Republicans never repealed Obamacare. Americans' views on health care have dramatically descended since passage of Obamacare. No one in the media will talk about it because everyone in the media was complicit in helping the Democrats pass Obamacare. They've defended Obamacare. They haven't wanted reform of Obamacare. But all of these people on the left complaining about health care in America, they're the ones who wanted the system that we have now. And they claim, no, actually, we want universal health care so it can be an unelected government bureaucrat doing what Brian Thompson did, denying claims. What are you going to do? Start killing the bureaucrats then? This is narcissism. It is a narcissism on display. It's the same thing with the trans community. You got a group of mentally ill narcissists who've decided they need everyone to pay attention to them, so they shave most of their head, leave the rest of it alone and dye it purple, put in a nose ring, declare their pronouns it, zer, and demand that you bow before them and respect them. It is a mentally ill narcissism. Then it is, by the way, it's also not a coincidence that the most vocal people cheering on the murder of a healthcare CEO are the people cheering on the murder of Jews, cheering on the trans community and the mutilation of children, and cheering on every left-wing groupthink out there. It is a narcissistic hive mind of progressive mentality out there. These white kids who are protesting against Israel, they're not concerned about the Palestinians. They're concerned about feeling involved and being change agents. They want to feel good about themselves. They don't care about the Palestinians. God knows gays for Palestine are never actually going to Palestine. One, you can't find it on the map because it's not real. And two, if they actually went to Gaza, they'd be murdered for being gay. They're absolutely narcissistic people, and they're trying to run our society. And by the way, the media is feeding into this. I want to play this exchange with Kate Baldwin on, I'm sorry, it's Brianna Keeler on CNN with Christian Wagner. You should know Christian Wagner is one of the greatest conservatives in the pro-life community. Hands down, one of the best people out there. Christian Wagner is fantastic. With the Alliance Defending Freedom, she is regularly vilified as some sort of terrorist by the left. Christian Wagner is brilliant, and she has this wonderful exchange with Brianna Keeler. But listen to Brianna Keeler in this conversation.
I think a lot of people are confused about this issue. They don't know where they stand on it. But where is the room for a conversation about this?
I love that we're having one right now in terms of a conversation, and that's what was at issue today. What kid, what girl knows whether she's going to want to have a baby long term, or what testosterone will do to her uterus, or that she will increase her risk of heart attack by taking these drugs?
Some of them do.
No.
None of them.
I don't think
None of them do.
85% what we know from the science, and again, it's about not putting ideology over evidence, and that's what's happening here.
Brianna Keeler posits that there are girls out there who know immediately they don't want to have children, or know immediately that they're actually boys trapped in girls' bodies. And we're talking kids here, children. And she just assumes that there must be that. I mean, that's what the left says. The narcissists on the left say it. So it must be true. And Christian Wagner's like, actually, no, we know what the data says. It's not true. And by the way, my oldest is now 19. When she was 4 years old, she set up her piggy bank and started saving her coins. She wanted to go to SCAD, the Savannah College of Art Design. Ever since she was little, she has been interested in fashion and art, and she happens to be a very good artist. I don't say that as proud dad. I say that as guilty dad, because she was actually so good as a child in art that I assumed she was copying from other people. I mean, really, it was so good. I was like, there's no way my kid is capable of doing that. And yet my kid was capable of doing that. And she wanted to go to SCAD. And then one day a switch flipped and she said, you know what? I actually want to make rockets and blow up Chinese communists. And I was like, God bless you, child. She also decided that being my kid and being conservative and Christian, she wouldn't be a good fit at SCAD. And so she decided she wanted to be an engineer. She's actually now exploring options in college beyond engineering, chemistry, and data analytics, business stuff. But she grew out of the phase of I'm going to go. She's still a brilliant artist. And, sadly, I think the progressive folks that she's encountering in the art department might be like ruining her desire to be in art. I wish she'd still do it, but in any event, she changed her mind. And yet the left tells us that a little kid is not going to change their mind. We might as well go on and chop them up in various ways. It's narcissism. It's the same level of narcissism of the people cheering on the CEO being murdered. They don't care about his wife. They don't care about his kids. They care about themselves. They care about themselves. And their narcissism is guiding so much of the progressive community right now. Think about this in education. They don't care that your inner city child is getting a terrible education because they care greatly about themselves and they feel like they've got to defend progressive public education. And in their need to defend progressive public education, they don't care about the outcome that your kid is getting. They care about their desire to defend it. They don't actually care about your jobs and job creation. They care about themselves. They want you to be forced into a vehicle you don't want because they don't care about you. They care about themselves. It is progressive narcissism through a manipulating press that puts them on display, where CBS News can take a story about a murdered CEO and turn it into a story of aggrieved people over insurance. A man is dead and they don't really care, except to the extent that progressives get to vent about their insurance problems and pay no attention to the fact that they're the ones who wanted the problems. They wanted Obamacare. This is what they got. They got it because they wanted it, and now they're deeply malcontented by what they themselves desired. And you can't point that out to them. God, no. They'll be super defensive about it. We wanted universal health care. But this was your compromise to try to get there, and now you don't like it. These people thought they'd never lose an election again on top of all of it, and they're deeply discombobulated. So what have they done? They've left Twitter to go to blue sky, where people like James Carville have for years now been telling the left, you've got to get out of the faculty lounge. And instead, the faculty all went to blue sky and wrapped all the activists into the faculty lounge so they can keep their groupthink hive mind bubble together, where they can all be neurotic narcissists continuing to drag down the Democratic Party. They may never win an election again. I got to tell you, though, that if you are cheering on the death of a healthcare CEO because you don't like health insurance, you actually are the problem. You are suffering some level of narcissism and mental illness. If that is your first reaction, that this man got what he deserved on behalf of everyone who's fought insurance, you are mentally ill. And that's most of the Democratic Party right now.